Hello, fellow admirals. Welcome back. It has been too long. Um, Game time. Anyway, uh, it sounds like the 1.3 update has been announced. Don't know exactly when it's going to be coming back yet, but anyway, let's get back to a little bit of fleet action. All right, so we have one of my late model battle cruisers. I don't have the modern battle cruiser hull yet, but here we go. This is probably going to be a little bit of a one-sided fight. I do like this about this game, the historical photos and descriptions and stuff. It is rather nice. So anyway, forgive me. I seem to be a little rusty on my controls. I've kind of been over on Rome Total War for a little bit. So let's go ahead and ping the enemy location and get to stepping. She is a rather nice ship, the Wiesbaden. For the quad 8-inch guns too, giving it quite potent secondary firepower. Like I said, not entirely sure how they're going to perform. I haven't had a chance to run them that much, in all honesty. Well, 2 torps ain't bad. Fairly lethal on a light cruiser, actually. A couple torpedoes. Okay, time to get on out of there, sweetheart. 2, 4. All right. Go back to screening for the cruiser. And that's funny, the battle cruiser is Graf Spee, but technically, the Graf Spee was a heavy cruiser. The Germans, I know they called it a Panzerschiff, or a pocket battleship as it came to be called, but if you want to build an actual Deutschland class cruiser, they're not battle cruisers. They are going to be on the heavy cruiser tech line. Okay, so there's this guy. I'm going to break him off and go look for that pesky little destroyer. Now these destroyers, I did crank these to 37 knots. However, that's it's a little fast for the destroyer 3 hull. Ergo, the ship is actually rather expensive. So it's a rather expensive destroyer. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Did we just get 6 torpedo hits on an enemy destroyer? I think we did. We most certainly did. Boom. Wow. Almost 19,000 damage on one of those hits. Yeah, those 13.2-inch guns are pretty, they're pretty hardcore. That's kind of what I figured. That would be a bit of a one-sided fight, but hey. They wanted it. They didn't run away. They very well probably could have 31.8 knots and 37 points. they could have outrun. Well, his light cruiser wasn't outrunning my destroyers, but anyway. Ship stats, main gun accuracy, 26%. That's not hateful. It's not the best I've had, but we were shooting at small, nimble little ships. So there was that to consider. Yeah. In some of these battles, they are forced. So you can't get out of all of them. I know. I'm trying to keep this quick. I'm trying to keep this nice and succinct. Excuse me. But it's, well, it's a forced battle. You know, what are you going to do with a forced battle? And actually, you can force those. When I get battles like that, it's typically what I'll do is I'll try to ping where is the enemy ship going, and if I can meet my fleet with theirs, oh boy, if I can meet my fleet with theirs, then I typically try to do that to eliminate any free floating fleets, as it were. Pardon the pun. Yeah, casement guns. You do reach a certain point technologically where the casement guns, they're irrelevant. However, they are early game. They are rather cost effective. So pick your casement guns fairly carefully, because they do they do serve a point. They do serve a purpose. Let's see. I don't have. Oh boy. I don't appear to have. That's right. My light cruiser from this fleet is kind of actually in port, and I wanted to get the fleet back out and about. So let's go ahead and speed this up. Now, these are V67s. This location for my torpedo tubes, absolutely god-awful. It's not a very good location. Now this, on the other hand, are my Odin-class battleships. These were my first modern battleship hull builds. They're rather nice. They run 30 knots. An effective speed I've found for these actually is closer to 32 knots. But for an early build, I wasn't trying to overdo anything. Now you can see I probably have a little bit of a balance problem on these things too. Look at this guy. This guy's bouncing all over the place, right? He's bouncing around all over the place. What I did with the next model destroyer, I keep these torpedoes here. I like to put the 5-inch gun down in that hole. And what I did was, as I moved, I had actually made the hull longer, and I was able to put the other tube on the back end of it, and actually slip a couple of 2-inch guns in over there. But anyway, that was a ghost battle. Kind of figures. Yeah, a couple of destroyers. They're not. He's not going to needlessly engage with that. And you would note that my Odins do have the same armament as those V-Spaden cruisers, but instead of triples, I put 3 triples. I put 4 doubles. Technologically speaking, the double turrets, at least at this point where I'm at in the game, the double turrets are much more accurate. I haven't gotten the improved triple turrets yet. Once I do, it's probably going to be a little bit of a game changer. But hey, here we go. And these are my older, obsolete dreadnought ships going up against a couple of Carnot's 6 twin 10s and 2 single 10s. Oh, this might be interesting. 18.1 inch is their armor, probably on the turrets. But note, it's only 97%. It's only plus 97%. Their top speed's 21 knots. They cost 39 million, whereas mine are closer to 100 million. Yes, yes, yes. And I have 14-inch guns. Once again, I apologize, but this is probably going to be a rather one-sided affair. I do have a couple of modern cruisers, though they are the heavy cruiser is my 8-inch Fleet Escort cruiser build. I do have some updated ones built that have 9-inch guns that should prove to be much more effective. So anyway, yes, you can see nice old dreadnought hull builds with the casement guns. Not very good placement, maybe. Well, I mean, they're very well balanced ships, is the thing. So anyway, let's get the fleet moving in the proper direction. And I'm going to set this heavy cruiser actually to follow the battleship line. Now the Oldenburg, I think, yeah, the Oldenburg is actually a different ship. And notice I have 3 triples, and I think I only built 2 of these. The Grosser Kurfürst, actually, it's not the Oldenburg. The Oldenburg is another one of the late Dreadnought era builds. But anyway, enough of me jawing. You know, I might be able to just, I don't know. I'm tempted to just see if, well, no, because my heavy cruisers are not, yeah, my heavy cruiser, just the 8-inch guns are not really rated. Oh God, and I haven't even refit him. This is the original build. This is an original build. It's still got the Mark IIIs. And it should have, yes, capped and high capacity HE shells. And this is another V67 destroyer. So let's go ahead and get him tracking on the enemy fleet. And I do like to run my battleships a little bit more at an angle to where I send my destroyers for obvious reasons. Now, should I leave my battleships on full speed? Let's find out. Okay, so this appears... Oh, God. Oh, God. What is that? I don't know if I should be happy that this is going to be... No, I'm not happy that this is going to be another easy fight. I'm not much for easy fights. I mean, come on, I'm playing at legendary difficulty. You think the AI would get some kind of a advantage to what it is that they do, but yeah, it's I mean, again, you know, and I mentioned that I've gone back to playing Rome Total War 2 a little bit. It's because the AI is, well, I mean, it's not great. Don't get me wrong. It's not fantastic. It's not great. Oh my God, you really would do that. Silly little destroyer. Automatically targeted over there. That's, you know what though? That's my fault. I wasn't paying attention to it. I really had a major lapse in judgment on that. That's my bad. That's my bad. Sorry, little destroyer. Trying to blame you for my problems. And I'm going to go ahead and drop my battleships to 20 knots, give or take. And let's go ahead and get them pivoting. Yeah, it's just, wow, that wasn't even That wasn't even one of my torpedoes. I think he just got he just got friendly fired. Oh boy. Like I said, the AI has some ways. It's got a ways to go on this. It definitely has a ways to go. Okay. I definitely caught the main guns off of that one battleship. Oh. Well, it looks like both of my tubes are burnt, so let's go ahead and get him out of here. Alright. Now, let me see here. Uh-oh. Houston, we might have a little bit of a problem. Oh, that's the Oldenburg, that's why. Anyway, the heavy cruiser. Yeah, like I said, this is just going to be a little bit of a this is going to be a bit of a one-sided affair, isn't it? I don't know if I should go ahead and try to challenge that that battleship with this heavy cruiser. Excuse me for a second. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and bump this speed up. Okay, I don't know that I want to tackle those heavy cruisers with my light cruiser, though he probably well could. Like I figure I'd much rather. I mean, you know, the modern cruisers are just they're so much better. Get to the modern ships as soon as you can. That's all I can say. Particularly the cruiser hulls. The modern cruiser hulls make life so much better. I mean, look at this thing. It's so elegant, so graceful. At least the German designs are. I really can't speak to the other nations at this point. But I should really be considering see excessive fire. So yeah, I've got cap ballistics on this thing. What I did do though is I put high capacity HE shells, at least on the original builds. But as you can see, this light cruiser has no trouble whatsoever just running down these battleships. The question is if he's targeting me, and it looks like he is, I might be in trouble. Nope. He sinks due to excessive fire. All right. So main gun accuracy on the Bussard, 33% on the light cruiser. Actually, that's not half bad, and that's with 6-inch L42s. So longer barreled 6-inch guns. Good rate of fire. And I have found that the light cruisers, I don't know. At least the guns, as main guns, it looks like the 6 inches actually perform better than the 7 inches. The 7 inches hit harder, of course, but anyway. Sorry about that. I'm trying to spare you my sneezing. All right, so that's 2 naval engagements down. The enemy fleet is rapidly losing ships. Sometimes I wonder where they manage to pull some of their resources from. I do have my naval communications to the point where I can now put 4 submarines. Uh, Submarines, they're just kind of what they are. Sometimes they do really well, and sometimes they're absolute garbage. 4 submarines against a light cruiser, and well, medium. They could 4 submarines couldn't manage to sink 1 light cruiser. Okay. Anyway, well, it looks like we have one more battle. Do I want to run this battle? What's with this battle? Okay, so it's one of my battle cruisers and 3 Austro-Hungarian destroyers. Not sure how this is going to work out. This is actually rather interesting because these are 2 mixed fleets. Actually, these are very mixed fleets because the battleship is an Ottoman battleship. It's an Italian heavy cruiser and 2 Bulgarian destroyers. Well, why not? Let's see what we got here. And this might be the last battle I try to do on this particular recording. I'm going to try to keep them a little bit more up to date and succinct. But like I said, it seemed like development on the game might have been abandoned for some time, and then come to find out it's because they're actually working on the 1.3 update. So there is that. So fellow admirals, be patient. The update is coming soon. Now the Austro-Hungarians don't appear to have RDFs on their ships yet, and yeah, they just have advanced radio. Coincidence rangefinders 3. Let me get a look at this they're little destroyers actually. So they have 3 twin tubes on the back and a triple tube on the front. Yeah, these are fairly traditional torpedo type boats, though 36.5 knots. They're actually faster than my main fleet destroyers. And while he's doing that, I'm going to take another look at the York here with its 8-inch secondary guns, and then I put some 150 millimeter casement guns on it. Which, if you're wanting the metric conversions, it's to stick with, shall we say, more traditional German type armament. Oh God, I'm completely ignoring this thing, and that's what I get. Right? Go ahead, tell me that's what you get, Wolfie. That's what you get for not paying attention, flapping your gums and looking at the pretty boats. Well, you know what? It's okay. It's an Austro-Hungarian. We'll just say it's an Austro-Hungarian ship. Like I said, I don't typically like to run the AI ships for them. I typically like to set them on. Run themselves. But hey, what are you gonna do? Okay. Well, I'll give the battle cruisers this. They are fast. They just don't get quite the armor protection that that battleships get. Obviously, it's a battle cruiser. So they're designed to have the guns of a battleship, but the maneuverability of a heavy cruiser. So if you are a fan of battle cruisers, just keep that in mind. They are nimble, but they are not durable in the same sense. Which is why I've taken to running my battle cruisers with destroyer escorts when at all possible. Ooh, excuse me. Okay. Wow, really? That was wow, that was his battleship? That was his battleship. Wow. What a kind of a turd. Ew, look at that thing. I was wondering about that. What's with all these double funnels? Look at the double funnels all over the place. What was he thinking? Well, go look for logic in the AI sometimes. I know. I'm sorry, guys. If you're looking for a game with good AI, maybe look elsewhere. Really, the only challenging thing you get out of it is when the AI fleet has like 20 destroyers, and then you really have to pay attention and like dodge the torpedo spam. It's a thing. I promise you, it's a thing. But it's just I don't understand where the AI goes with their builds. And I mean, I've started at the very beginning, and I've started campaigns in 1910. So you know, you're talking about 20 to 30 years later, even 1920, right? I don't understand the AI builds sometimes. And then I have a bunch of submarine engagements, which I'm not going to bore you with those. That's pretty much okay. Let's roll the dice. Things to pay attention to, though, are areas of control, like with this submarine group here. He controls all of that green area. And I think the gray circle is actually his effective engagement range. So as you can see, you know, this submarine group, if I were to click on that, if I can click on that, can I click on that? U45, 47, U45, 47, so on and so forth. You get the idea. So see, that's within his zone of control. So what I like to do with submarines typically is plug up choke points. They're pretty effective at that. It depends on what they come up against. Like this right here. He's got depth charge 2 on this destroyer, which I don't think his tech level actually includes sonar right now. He might have hydrophones, decent enough hydrophones, but there are battleships here. I'm going to go ahead and risk this. He's got a bunch of destroyer escorts, but there are those battleships, which makes for... Okay, so we sank one destroyer and lost 3 subs, and the other one was heavily damaged. You get the idea. It's a roll of the dice, right? I mean, seriously. 4 submarines were unable to sink a light cruiser, and those 4 submarines sank a destroyer while losing 3 of them at the same time. He did have a lot of destroyers there, though. Let's be fair. He did have a lot of destroyers there. I'm going to go ahead and attack that, and I said I wasn't going to bore you with this, but okay. So see, they got heavy damage on that one. Again, though, 4 submarines against a lone light cruiser. That's almost like, realistically speaking, that light cruiser probably would have been toast. I mean, so anyway, you know, tips and stuff. Especially if you're playing one of these central type countries that have the potential for fronts on both sides, try to eliminate one of the fronts before you get to the point of having them coming at you from both sides. The Spanish are my allies. I did manage to accomplish that, and I did manage to actually take over most of the British Isles, which also was very, very beneficial. And as you can see, Africa is pretty much completely under German and Spanish control. So we are working on the Sudan right now. The Italians have a little bit of territory through the Red Sea. And then this is kind of a hot mess right now. I really only have a couple of fleets for area control over in the eastern quadrant, and it looks like the Americans have jumped in. The Japanese are not taking part yet. I'm just refreshing my memory right now. But I do. This is something I did very early. Is when I went to war with the British, I was sure to take over Port Moresby because that gave me total control over North Oceania. The Americans are moving a fleet through there, but that's kind of beside the point. All right. So, anyway, as always, fellow admirals, thanks for stopping by. If you are enjoying the content, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Until then, happy sailing.